Well. Back yet again to talk baseball. I don't really talk much baseball on the channel, but you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna start. And then sadly, yes, sadly, I'm a fan of, I don't know if this works, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Really, the Angels of Anaheim. Yes, I got this hat. I like this hat. This hat is from I got this hat at the Universal City Walk. Nice World Series championship snapback hat and things like that. But yeah, yes. Um, the Angels. The Angels are an interesting team for me to root for, and I always have these moments of why did I choose this team to follow? I have absolutely no clue, but whatever. I'll take it. If I could go back in time and tell my younger self, hey, go root for another baseball team, I would, because the Angels have put me through enough pain, enough suffering, as they get on their way to trying to hopefully back to being a good baseball team. But I don't think that will ever happen under the watch of Artie frickin' Moreno. Anyways, the Angels had their opening day series as the start of baseball really truly commenced after, I guess you can say, that Korea series or whatever. But um the Angels, for the most part, they look solid in spring training. I actually like some of the things I saw in spring training, and obviously the biggest part was Ron Washington. And I was really hyped for the Angels. I was, well, hyped enough just to see what they can bring to the table. And they didn't get off to a rough they got to a very bad start, and they didn't get to, how these videos will be talking about. I'll talk about the series in general with what I can watch and everything. But basically what happened is, the fact is, really, the Angels lost the series, but they managed to take today's game and win today's game. And I'll probably mostly be talking about today's game because who the hell cares about the first two games, right? If you're an Angel fan. The first and second game of the season, it was just a complete ass whooping. The Angels got absolutely blown out from the jump, from the start, and there was not a damn thing the Angels could do about it. And I understand the Baltimore Orioles are a good team, and Angel fans were saying that all over social media that they're a really good team. But I'm sorry, my personal opinion, that's unacceptable to get blown out in back-to-back games, even if it's against a team that is gonna probably be in the playoffs and potentially is a World Series, finalist or favorite to make, or a team to potentially make the World Series. That's still unacceptable because you should not be getting blown out like that in back-to-back games in that embarrassing fashion. Really the only highlights out of those two games was like a Joe Adell triple in the second game, Taylor Ward hitting a home run in the second game. Mike Trout got the season started with a home run. I was absolutely like hyped. I was like, "Oh shit, we got a Mike Trout hit a home run in his first at bat on Corbin Burns. I'll take it. Let's go." And then, everything happened. The reason why we got blown out in those two games is plain and simple. One, it's the offense absolutely not showing up the first two games. They somewhat did a better job in this third game, but even then you could say, well, they didn't do much of anything either in the third game as well. What's his face? Um so the offense didn't show up. The pitching, it definitely didn't show up. Now, I thought Griffin Canning, he did his job for all intents and purposes. He only really gave up 3 runs in my eyes, but obviously, statistic wise, if you leave men on base, you're going to be charged with those earned runs if you leave the game. So, what happened is Luis Garcia came in and he had a complete implosion. The second game, I didn't really pay attention much to after the implosion happened. And after that, it was sooner or later, the Angels were down massive runs, and the game was basically virtually over. That was basically it. The same things in the first game, though. The difference was, unlike Griffin Canning, Patrick Sandoval, who was the opening day starter, which till this day, it makes no sense why, out of all the pitchers in the rotations, which, listen, let's be honest, the Angels rotation is not impressive at all. And again, you can blame Arnie Moreno for not wanting to go out there and go sign guys or give Perry Manassian, the GM of the Angels, the approval to sign a guy like Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery or a Michael Lorenzen or somebody that was under the Scott Boras deal that could have been gotten for chump change, because guess what? The market didn't want to pay these Scott Boras guys. You could have easily gave Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery or Michael Lorenzen the deals those respective teams gave them, and you would be fine. And honestly, any of those pitchers would be the best pitchers on the frickin' roster. If not especially Blake Snell would be the ace of the team. But regardless, as I was saying, um, Patrick Sandoval, he gets the opening day starter position, and I'm just like, what the hell did he do to deserve it? He didn't look really impressive in spring training. He had one really great outing in spring training, which was the first one, and then after that, he had shaky starts, looking like Patrick Sandoval from last year after the WBC. This man, Patrick Sandoval, goes out there and completely stinks up the joint. He only goes an inning. He only goes one. He goes only like an inning and like maybe just one inning, 1.2 innings in his outing on opening day. Absolutely embarrassing. He wasn't throwing first pitch strikes. He wasn't getting guys out. He was pitching like he did last season. And I was just watching the game. I'm like, what the hell? Why did he deserve to be the opening day guy? Too much pressure, if I assume. Honestly, I thought Griffin Canning should have been the opening day starter. I thought he actually earned it. He was pretty solid in spring training. He didn't look like great, but he looked solid. I'm like, okay, it's passable. I would like him to be the opening day starter. For whatever reason, Juan Washington made him the opening day starter. So every time we go up against a team, Patrick Sandoval is going up against the team's best ace pitcher, essentially, which means he has to match them. Personally, if you ask me, he potentially could be trade bait. If anything, send him back down to the frickin' minors if he's got any options left. I don't know if he has any options left, but if he continues to put up stinkers to where he's not hitting the strike zone, he's struggling to get people out, and he's just flat inconsistent, man. Honestly, either you trade him to another team and get some assets in return for him, and then that's when you make like a guy like who we saw today in Jose Soriano finally be the starter and just take his spot in the rotation. um what's his face, or you just send him back down to the minors, which who knows. Personally, I don't think they would send him back down to the minors. I feel like the Angels would trade him to get something in response in compensation for him, because listen, he just hasn't played good. I don't know what the hell happened from the time in his time at the WBC to then once he got to the Angels last year. um because listen, let's be honest. We need that WBC Patrick Sandoval. And since the WBC, he's been a shell of himself. I don't know what the hell happened. Hell, even in 2022, the 2022 season, he looked pretty good near the tail end of the season. And you're like, okay, he's cooking with something. WBC, he lights it up. And then 2023 comes around, and then I don't know what the hell happened. But he didn't perform good. He's good. Honestly, I'm giving him like two more outings. If he can't step his game up in the next two outings he gets, well, then we really need to have a conversation, and then we need to really see maybe he might need to be sent back down, or maybe he needs to be knocked down in the rotation. Personally, if you ask me. Regardless, like I said, the Angels didn't do much of anything in the first two games. They got blown out to the point it led to a team meeting by Ron Washington already. And I'm just like, my goodness, we're already having a team meeting, and it's only the second game of the season. Now, obviously, the team meeting is probably good. He probably had to let these dudes know, like, listen, we can't be getting blown out like this. It's embarrassing. We got to do our jobs. We got to execute. And frankly, you know, players just out there, the first two games weren't executing. Offensively, players weren't executing, and then pitching wise, wasn't players weren't executing. In some cases, in that like first game, you had some defensive blunders, so clearly the players on defense wasn't executing as well. Now let's get to the third game. A chance for to at least salvage the series. Because personally, my only belief is I'm not expecting the Angels to sweep teams. If you get a sweep, that's a nice thing to have. But as long as you're getting 2 out of 3 series wins, you hiding your chances of potentially making the playoffs. Now, I have no aspirations or expectation the Angels make the playoffs. I think they're going to be in the same place they've always been the last few years, honestly, since 2014, around that time, and that's mostly hovering around third slash more than likely finishing in fourth place, missing the playoffs again. But um, if you've already lost a series, at least try to get a game so you don't get swept. At least get a win. And today the Angels got a win on Easter Sunday. So you'll take it. You will take it indeed. Um, Plain and simple, the Angels went out there and it started with Reed Detmers. Reed Detmers from the jump. It started with Reed Detmers. Really, if I want to be honest, it started with Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward ended up hitting a 2-run shot. Because Shanuel got on base, which wow, who would have thought? And I'll talk about that, about the lineup thing, about the lineup construction and shit like that, because the first 2 games, the lineup construction was not it. But Shanuel hits in the 2 hole, he gets on base, and Taylor Ward, he cranks a 2-run home run. Maybe Shenuel should be hitting second, not like 6th or 7th in the lineup. I forgot where he was hitting at in the first 2 games, but around that mark, essentially. Because that's a guy that is like, he hasn't like getting on base record right now. And he only has like a few more games he has to do that. Like, come on now. And then plus, on top of it, he's got a good eye for such a young player in the MLB. So it's like, why would you not have him at the top of your lineup? And I'll talk about the lineup issues I have with the lineup right now. But Taylor Ward got the day started off with a 2-run shot. And then I was like, all right, that's great. We got a 2-run lead. And knowing the last few Angels pitching things, and knowing the Angels for the past few years, what they like to do is after the offense gives them a run, the pitching department likes to give the runs right back, if not the lead right back to the opposing team they're playing. And next thing you know, the Angels are losing within less 1 inning. Luckily enough, Reed Detmers, he did not do that. And there was times where the Angels in this game, they got themselves into potential issues where they could have blown the game, but the pitching did their jobs and they shut the Orioles down. But Reed Detmers came out in that first inning and went and only gave really 1 hit, but really just went 1, 2, 3. How was I expected? And the reason why he got 1, 2, 3 is because he had first pitch strikes in that first inning. The issues with Sandoval and then Canning to an extent, even though Canning had a solid outing still, Canning did not throw first pitch strikes. If not, he rarely threw first pitch strikes. And this is the thing. If you're throwing first pitch strikes, the batter has to basically readjust and be like, all right, now I need to be in a pressurized situation to where, all right, I could be expecting some whatever. And honestly, as a pitcher, you can throw whatever. Because if you get behind the count, whether you're like a 1-0 or a 2-0, more than likely your bailout pitch is probably going to be just a straight fastball because that's probably the best pitch you can throw with control compared to an off-speed pitch. So, Reed Detmers, he threw first pitch strikes, and lo and behold, he get a 1, 2, 3 inning. I wonder why. Now, in the second inning where he had some trouble and he got himself to trouble, which I think that's when we gave up 1 run in the second inning. Let me see. Let me look at the statistics. Yeah. Um, we gave up we gave up a run in the second inning because Reed Detmers wasn't throwing first pitch strikes. He was throwing first pitch balls. And it led to some walks and then guys getting on base. But luckily, Reed Detmers got out of the inning. Now, I think if you take away that long second inning Detmers had, I think Detmers potentially goes 6 innings today instead of 5 innings. He did get the win today. But you would hope to see, and that's kind of what Ron Washington wants to see these pitchers do, get themselves deep into games, and get them to the 6th, potentially 7th inning. So then guess what? You're not taxing your bullpen too much. And I think that second inning is where Reed accumulated a lot of pitches. to where okay, he wasn't able to go deep in the game. Because I think if he didn't have this long drawn out second inning, he probably would have went 6 innings deep into this game, which is something that Ron Washington wanted him to do. But he pitches a good game. He kept Baltimore off balance. Obviously there was some strikeouts. I think like the Cedric Mullins one, he got a benefit of the doubt of the call thanks to the umpire. Um, Thank goodness, because the first two games, the umpire was giving the Orioles pitchers like these crazy strikes, then these bitches were like way out of the fucking zone. I'm like, dude, come on now. And you're because and it's like it's a pitch that's like you want him to freaking hit at that when it's a straight up ball. And it's funny because the minor leagues are doing like this thing where you can now challenge balls and strikes. Why is this not implemented in the MLB already? Like seriously, I understand the minor leagues they do this stuff to test it out because that's what the thing that they do with the pitch clock. They tested the pitch clock out in minor league and then adopted it to the major league. So maybe that will be something next year where okay, yeah, you can challenge balls and strikes, and things like that. So, um, listen, and then in the second inning, the Angels tacked on some more runs. Neto, thanks to what's his face? I forgot who it was. Reen Hefo, he got an infield single. Then Ohapi got another single. Adele, he then popped out or something like that. And then you had it to where Neto hit another single. It scored Rengifo, and then off an error, what's his face? Or what is it? Rendon. He got a sac fly to advance the runners, and then an error due to McCann, a throwing error to McCann. It ended up bringing in Logan O'Hoppe to run in, and that's basically it of the Angels offense. The Angels offense really didn't do much of anything. They only had 6 hits. I will say it's nice that they got 4 runs early in the game, but see, that's nice and all Danny. But at the end of the day, the Angels got to find ways to splurge a little bit through the middle part to the late parts of the games. Because if you're trying to gonna win game, because you can't, you know, and it's one of these games where you got out to an early lead or for early four nothing lead, and it's like, all right, pitching, we gave you 4 runs, don't let us down. But that also kind of puts a lot of pressure on your pitching to where, all right, we can't make a lot of mistakes even though we're up 4. Because at the end of the day, teams can still chip and score runs and things like that. But regardless, 4 runs is good enough to win you baseball games. It comes and frankly, it came down to the pitching, and luckily, the pitching they held up for basically the remaining 6 innings. After the second inning, after Detmers gave that 1 run in the second inning, and again, there was dicey situation, especially with Soriano. I believe in that, if I'm correct, in that 8th inning, to where legitimately the Orioles could have scored a few runs, potentially got down by 1, or if not, maybe tied the potential game, and then we're potentially in extra innings, maybe losing, probably. But luckily, Soriano he got out of gym because Ron Washington did that one talk with the pep talk where we would see him in spring training, where he'd go up to these pitchers, basically reassure him like, "Hey, listen, I need you to throw strikes. You got to do what you got to do. Listen, you're good. Just do what you need to do, execute, and you'll be fine." He had that talk with Soriano. Soriano went down there and he basically executed. He got the last 2 guys out and ended the inning, and you'll take it. And that's a guy who they're stretching out. And he went 2 innings in this game. They're stretching him out, obviously, because they see his potential as a starter. And he has the stuff to be a future starter in the MLB, especially a future starter for the Angels. They're just going to stretch him out. At first, I was questioning the decision on why they bring him out for a second inning, but they want to stretch him out to be a starter, and he was in a high pressurized situation, and hey, he got out of the jam, which is good. But like I was saying with the offense, I will say, got to do more than just score 4 runs early on. Like at least tack on some offense, make the pitching work. Like make the starting pitcher work. Like Wells, I thought he had a solid game. Like early on, he wasn't looking good for him. But then after the second inning, he settled in and he was freaking shutting down Angel batters. See, this is what I'm talking about. The Angels need to have more drawn out at bats, better offense throughout their innings. So then guess what? You're raising up that starting pitcher's pitch count. So then eventually, guess what? You can get to their bullpen faster. And I understand the Orioles They got a good pitching staff and they got a good starting rotation and a good bullpen. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to win games. And that's why Angel fans who were saying the first two games, like, oh, it's all right. The Angels, they're out, the Orioles are just really good. I'm not giving that excuse. We should not be getting blown out by this team, despite how damn good they are. And today was good alone was good enough to show like, okay, we can hold a team like that to one run. It's just that the pitching executes and does their jobs, and the offense on their side of the ball, they can do their jobs and things like that. So yeah, but the Angels, they salvage the series at least. They get one win before they head on the road to Miami to play the Miami Marlins, who I believe they lost today. As they lost, yeah, they lost again today. So they ended up getting swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates. So you're gonna have a pretty hungry Miami Marlins team wanting to come up and try to win games. And mind you, I think in those games, the Marlins did put up some runs because the Marlins did put up some runs. Like in the first game, they put up 5 runs. The second game, they didn't put it nearly as much runs. They only put up 2 runs. The third game, they only put up 3 runs. And then today, they put up 7 runs. But regardless, they're scoring runs. So even if it's in the low runs for 2 games and then high runs, you want to make sure that, they're not doing it. And I trust me, I went to 2 Angel games when they played Miami, the Miami series last year, and the Miami series they weren't Miami at that time wasn't good. I still don't think they're not a good team either. I think they're kind of a middle of the pack. They got a lot of talent though. I won't deny they got a lot of talent on that Miami Marlins ball club. But regardless, it's like this is a winnable series. This is a winnable series, and we play a 3-game series. Yeah, we have a 3-game series against Miami Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tomorrow we have Silseth going on the bump for us. Silseth, his last outing against the Dodgers, he was really damn good in that last exhibition game. So hopefully he brings it tomorrow. And then we have Tyler Anderson against Lazardo. Um, oh yeah, Monday we play. We're up against Meyer, and then on Wednesday, Sandoval will be going on the bump again against AJ Puck. Um, so again, it's a winnable series. There's no excuse why the Angels can't take 2 out of the 3. But I won't be shocked if we lose a series 2-3 because still I could see Silseth getting the W in game 1 and then fricking Anderson and Sandoval completely shitting the bed in games 2 and 3. But last thing I want to get out of here before I talk about the lineup, before I get out of here and things like that, I want to talk about kind of the lineup. I kind of hope the lineup construction kind of changes a bit more. Um, First things first, can we take Anthony Rendon out of the leading off? I don't care what Ron Washington says. He's a guy that watches, takes pitches, and he's got a good. I don't give a shit. The man went 0 for 12 in the series against the freaking Baltimore Orioles. Again, I said cut him. I wanted him to be cut at the end of the season last year. And then his comments he made in the offseason. Listen, Rendon is there just to be there. He's just making money. He's collecting a check. Plain and simple. That's what he's doing. And I don't appreciate it. I don't like it at all. And I hate it. Um, Literally he went 0 for 12. I hope if he goes like again, if he goes 0 for in this next series, a question might need to be asked about to Ron Washington, like, hey, are you gonna change who's leading off? And particularly, you want a fast guy leading off. But like I said, and like in the second game, in the first and second games against the Orioles, you had Aaron Hicks batting second. I did not like that. Aaron Hicks was abysmal this past series. Absolutely abysmal. So far, he has not shown what he did in spring training. Spring training, he was really good. I'm not gonna lie. He was really good. And I was like, okay, he's really good. Then he's stinging up the damn joint. And it's like, okay, then it looks like you're only out there because you got a good arm in the right field. At this point, I'd rather see Moniak or Adele play. Um, but hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. Um, so I think Shanwell, he needs to be hitting second because he gets on base. And it sets Trout up to add in another to get another hit or something like that, and then you could lead it to Tyler Ward, who if he's hitting the ball really good, then hey, we're all good and things like that. But personally, I'd honestly have more Drury batting cleanup than Ward, but I think the stats say that Ward's better as clean. Ward surprisingly is really pretty good at batting cleanup. So regardless, but look, the Angels they got a W today. You'll take it. I'll take any W's the Angels can get if they're gonna make a playoff. However, I don't care. However way they get the W, it doesn't have to be pretty. Damn it, I don't care. I have no hope for this team. So if they win ugly, they win ugly. It's not like with my Clippers, where if I see them win an ugly football or basketball game, I don't like that because that just tells me, all right, I have no confidence that this will work. If the Angels went ugly and it leads them to playoffs somehow, I will take it. But the Angels got the W against the Baltimore Orioles today. They lose the series regardless, though, and they're going to be playing Miami before they end up going back home to start off the series against the Boston Red Sox and then playing the Tampa Bay fucking Rays. Jeez Louise, man. Um, I will be there. I think the Friday. I'll probably be at the game on Friday. I'll be going to the game on Friday evening, so the Angels home opener essentially. I'm probably going with my buddy and things like that. So yeah, honestly might go Sunday too. Might go Sunday. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah. Anyways, that's basically all I gotta say. So yeah. Anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the series against the Angels. Again, if you want to get more Angels baseball content from me, I'm probably gonna try to do series recaps and things like that. I'm not gonna do game by game because I can't do that. Plus, I work, and that's gonna take a lot. But regardless, we'll see. We will see. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day or day or night whenever you're checking out this video. Till then, guys, peace.